tea parties, and the fear of the future. For every event in society, there are at least two sides. The side seen and the side unseen. Oftentimes, the side seen is simply that which coincides with media narrative, a perverse kind of shadow theater, where the media, by its choices of what to cover and what to ignore, writes the script of social reality. All of us saw this several years ago, during the run-up to the Iraq War, where the government, using all the tools available, mobilized the media to make the Iraq War seem inevitable, and indeed make the illogical logical. According to some published accounts, Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein didn't believe the U.S. would actually invade, not until the bombs began to fall. For he, a logical man after all, never could accept that Americans could be so silly. The U.S., you remember, armed his forces during the ruinous war between Iraq and Iran, where nearly 1 million people died. He knew, therefore, that a U.S. invasion would badly weaken Iraq and consequently strengthen Iran. This, he reasoned, made no sense from the standpoint of U.S. interests. As time has taught us, governments can be silly, driven by constituencies and class forces into martial madness. The Tea Party groups are one such constituency. They're a group trying to race back to a past that looks brighter in the present than it did in its own era. They want the incomes that made upwardly mobile lifestyles possible for millions until policymakers sold them down the river with NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, and other such acts which rushed manufacturing jobs out of America forever. They want the economic security that their grandparents fought for without the unions which made that security possible. In essence, they want yesterday without the struggles that shaped those days. They want white supremacy with a few colored tokens, English spoken, again ignoring the many tongues of their own grandparents, and eternal war against the threatening dark other, Muslims, Chinese, blacks, Mexicans, Venezuelans, etc. Isn't it ironic that they chose an historic image, the Boston Tea Party, where Bostonians dressed up as Indians to sabotage, destroy, and throw overboard shipments of British tea to protest taxes? I've often wondered, why did they dress up as Indians? Why didn't they simply wear masks? Why didn't they wear their own clothes or their own faces, unless they feared the responses of the British Army? Why dress as Indians, unless they were trying to provoke American and British repression against neighboring Indian tribes? The Boston Tea Party always struck me as an action laced with fear. Above all, they fear the one constant in the universe, change. From Death Row, this is Mumia Abu Jamal. These commentaries are recorded by Noel Hanrahan of Prison Radio.